Report. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason. I'm here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brent, Texas. NewDimensionsCrystals.com if you want to check us out. And I am here for the week of February 7th to February 13th, day before Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday, if you're celebrating those seasons of Christian holiday. And we are in the season of Aquarius in our solar stuff and getting right into the sun. The sun's been kind of quiet, and the quiet sun is really sometimes detrimental to us because we need a lot of that extra energy to come through that sort of makes us feel alive and vibrant and have some sort of charge in the atmosphere. There has been some minor flaring, and so minor flaring isn't really going to cause any technological disruptions, right? So your internet should still be fine and whatnot, but it can cause some minor irritations in psychic and psychological function. And so when those sort of happen, those are going to be a little bit of anxiety inducing, and then sometimes a little bit of not necessarily brain fog. It's not a slowing down. It's it's almost an overwhelm where there's too much information moving through at once. And so the sun should, there is an active solar sunspot region moving through, which was expected to sort of be very active, but most of these solar flares that have been happening have been in the lower range and not from this major sunspot area. But that could change during the week. So pay attention to any solar weather that you can sort of see in eruptions. And by all means, most of them are not going to be alarming and earth shattering stuff. So just sort of pay attention when they're happening. And when they get above M class, which goes into X class, is when they're going to start to really affect you. So anything in the M classes that somebody says is disastrous on the interwebs is probably full of it. So yeah, that's the sun. The sun's doing fine. The lower Earth, the lower Earth, not the lower Earth, not the middle Earth. The shield, the electromagnetic shield that sort of keeps us protected from solar weather and then cosmic weather as well. Its lowering is really the thing that is responsible for these major things. The thing that's like hitting California right now, that energetic river of whatever, atmospheric rivers is what they're calling them. Yeah, so those things are gonna increase more, and then not because of the warming of the planet, but also the hurricanes will likely get larger as well because of that lowered field. So more cosmic energy can come in, which means there's more electricity, which means when you get two magnetic things coming together, then they can cause a bigger spin and a larger storm. So that's that. The sun. It's great. Here we are today, Wednesday, the 7th of February. And we are just in the post shadow of Saturn, just ended. And so, really, the energy of today is really that all of your interesting. Oh, we were just talking about dreams before we came on air. Karmic debt is paid, old habits are put behind you, right? So, if perhaps you were not as kind to somebody, or you were on the receiving end of somebody's not as kind as they could have been energy, a lot of that stuff is sort of going away, right? Whatever effort you've done, whatever amends you've made to sort of add forgiveness as part of your rituals, and then that energy of this post Saturn shadow is, really those karmic debts have been paid, those old habits of what you used to be have been put behind you. And the moon and Jupiter today is in alignment. It is about activation. Activation is really sort of, you hit a threshold and become activated, and or a switch turns on. And so it's really the energy of today. Once we've paid all our karmic debts, there's this activation of our highest potential. And that activation of our highest potential really is that we are being empowered, or we have the power in and of ourselves. We're not waiting for somebody to give us the power. We're not waiting, or we're not held back because of karmic debt or bad feelings about our past. We're really enabled to go ahead and move forward. And so as we have the power, boundaries are important as you see that play out in the world. Your personal boundaries are powered with light, right? So the more you foster the goodness within you, the more you sort of have a boundary issue that doesn't allow anything else from the outside. And the energy to sort of grow is about expansion. And um, a lot of times what happens when we start to grow like that, what also becomes a boundary is we were just talking about this before the camera came on, is people's unwillingness or um it's not even a jealousy, right? But sometimes your growth is a judgment of people who decided not to grow, and so they'll siphon off that light from you, right? So you'll need to add even more energy to your growth, to your expansion, to your move forward, right? And so sometimes that's increasing the light of boundaries, right? So it's not increasing a boundary of fear where you're sort of building a barrier around yourself. It's increasing more light. So you want to increase your capacity to move energy through and be who you are in what you're doing out loud and even more, even if there is this resistance. So it's a lot of energy going on for a Wednesday. Um, but that is what's happening today. So if you've already noticed that, um, karmic debts being paid or old debts coming up to be paid off. That's really the energy of the day. All of these things I'm talking about, I wrote down. I did the report early. I did this yesterday evening, and so all of the things about Wednesday actually happened this morning already in the hour and so that I've been out of the house. Interesting. It's like these reports are real. Anywho, moving on till tomorrow, Thursday, the 8th. All of the changes that you made in 2023 are now solidified, right? So um a lot of times when we make changes, we're worried that the changes don't last or won't last, or something's going to happen. Like if we get a job, we're worried we're going to get fired. If we stop drinking, we're worried we're going to be tempted. If we stop smoking, we're worried that we're going to want to pick up a cigarette. um Stuff like that, habitual stuff where you're waiting for something bad to happen or a reason to go back in the other stuff. Tomorrow, Thursday, uh really is the demarcation, right? So if you're building all these boundaries today, then tomorrow, Thursday, is really the day where you can sort of put that worry behind, right? And use that energy of contemplation or fear, and use that energy rather than think about what could go wrong. Start to add that into making more things go right. um yeah, I like that. That's good. Your habits that you've changed are it's kind of like up leveling, right? When you're playing video games and all of a sudden you hit a certain level and you can't go back below that, no matter how many lives you redo, you always start at this next level. Kind of the same thing that's happening. Also, tomorrow, Venus and Uranus are going to be aligned to help you move past old failures and excuses. And the moving past the failures and excuses is really the ending of excuses, that what you've been working on. If you're watching this show, the shop, if you're in the shop, that your energy, your potential is leadership potential. So there's no need to keep your spiritual growth to yourself, your epiphanies, your discoveries about life and patterns and all that kind of stuff. There's no need to keep that to yourself anymore. Starting tomorrow, thanks, Venus and Uranus. That sounds good. But it is the burden of leadership, right? That is putting yourself out front in dealing with people who aren't ready to be led and who don't want to go anywhere new. Um, that is the burden of leadership. But sometimes there are other leaders around, and sometimes there are people that are just been waiting for you to put on the crown and help them move to a new place. And so tomorrow, Thursday, is the day where you can start to do that, or you'll start to recognize that that is the case, or maybe it's already been the case. You all of a sudden are the a leader extraordinaire of a group you didn't know you were leading. But all of a sudden it becomes evident that people look to you for new patterns and new ways of life. Congratulations. Anywho, moving on to Friday, February the 9th. is going to be the super new moon. And super new moons just means that the moon is close as it gets to the Earth, but it'll be a new moon, so it'll be dark. That's going to be a super new moon in Aquarius. And so all of that Aquarius, the sun and the moon with Saturn is really about responsibility to our souls, right? So we're really here to do what our soul mission was, right? And so that's the energy of Friday. Um, let's see, it's kind of an intense thing for grazing over here or glancing over here in this report, but really the responsibility to understand what we were born for, how we were created, and our combination of skills and our life experience that has really sort of shaped us, right? So if life has kicked your ass and you're like the smoothed rock because of it, then that's what you're supposed to be, right? There's nothing that your soul uh can't use to make you who you always were supposed to be. Yeah, that sounds like a good phrase. And so um when we dedicate ourselves to our own souls, that means that we're committed to the challenge, no matter how inconvenient it becomes, right? So the energy of this overwhelming desire to do something or to make something known, maybe it's a hobby you've done on the side, maybe it's a business of yourself, maybe it's even just how you show up in relationships, right? um, you really can't avoid it. And no matter if it's a hard conversation or an easy conversation or causes a little bit of financial dip before it gets better, you really are leaving behind others' expectations of you and taking on your soul's expectations. Oh, it sounds like some big stuff. And when you leave behind others' expectations, you're also leaving behind their limitations of people who said you couldn't do what you know you can. And so just listen to your soul and stop listening to other people on Friday. Yeah, just hard stop. No problem, right? Leads into Saturday, February the 10th. We'll still be in that new moon energy. And February 10th is an 11 master day. So that energy of being able to sort of break free, become your own leader, leave behind old limitations from others outside of the self, and sort of gain soul power that sort of combos into itself. It's going to be a last 11 master day for a couple months, I believe, until October. And so if you're choosing yourself, um, if you're choosing service, then you're going to continue to keep winning. Also, February the 10th is the Lunar New Year, right? So it's Happy New Year. And the lunar calendar zodiac is usually governed by the Chinese zodiac, or at least a lot of people use it that way. And so that is going to be the beginning of the year of the dragon. This year is the wood dragon. Um, dragon is, I'm a dragon, 76, right? So year of the dragon is really sort of oriented around leadership, abundance. Sometimes when it's the fire dragon or the understanding that dragons breathe fire. Sometimes it's an inner fire. It's a Kundalini awakening, right? Sometimes the coiled dragon around the spine. Right. So year of the dragon is really about abundance and having the power and leadership and almost kind of like a lion rules the jungle. It doesn't have to go around killing everything and eating everything to keep everything in order. It just sort of makes sure that order stays the way it is, right? So it's not about this energy that has to be conquering all the time. It's just this energy that knows that when it's necessary, it can conquer, right? So that's the energy of the dragon for us. February the 10th, 11 Master Day, which leads us into Sunday, February the 11th. February the 11th, it's Super Bowl Sunday, I think, and I'm pretty sure. And also, I will be doing breath work and sound healing with Dodie over in LaGrange. Look on my social media, Facebook and Instagram, to sort of catch up on that. If you want to come, I think there's still spots. If you see the flyer on my social media, there's a number to text. That will be a great stuff. We're in a new space. And so we're looking forward to that. This is the second time Dodie and I have done a breathwork session together. Um, but the energy of the day is really about being in flow state. So it's going to be really good to be doing breath work and sound healing in combination. But when we sort of get into that flow state, this is really about now you're in the pace, in the energy, in the flow of living your best life. Like all these things that are leading up to Sunday, right? These leaving karmic stuff behind, coming into your own power, being a leader, listening to your soul and not others. All of a sudden, when you do that, you hit this sort of high pitch of flow where you're just in it. There's nothing. It's kind of like when traffic just sort of opens up. It's like when all of a sudden every song you want to hear just hits in the playlist. Like that's what's going to be happening on Sunday. So look forward to that. Should be a good day. Leads us into Monday, February 12th. This is really rededicating or recommitting to those or recommitting yourself to those in your life that have been there for you and bringing them along on your rise, right? So if somebody's been there the whole time, whether they've been as helpful as they could be or integral to your own inner work as maybe you would like them to, but they're in your life. This is sort of a rededication. If they're coming with you, you need to sort of nurture that, right? Maybe nurture them up to be their own leader. Maybe nurture them up to sort of uh, come along. And the main thing when I'm sort of getting it that the energy of the day on Monday is really to be worthy of people's loyalty, be worthy in your own mind, right? Not somebody else's expectation. Be worthy of the crown of leadership. And so, this could be kids, this could be spouses, this could be coworkers, just people in your life that have been there for you. This is really the rededication to like, hey, I'm this new person and be worthy of that leadership or that loyalty that they've given you. Leads us into Tuesday, the last day of what we cover in our report. And so uh, Tuesday, you'll be challenged to basically step up or step to the side, right? All this energy. I won't say it's your only chance because putting at a pivotal point around a day, like, oh, you didn't do it on Tuesday, I guess you're never going to do it, is not the truth. But the energy of that day on Tuesday is, hey, if I'm not going to act on this self love, on all this cosmic energy, on all these epiphanies, then I might as well not. But the thing that usually holds us up is when we sort of claim this understanding of self. It's not really a claiming of this understanding of self and try to duplicate it on somebody else. And so a lot of us will not claim our leadership because of perceived being arrogant or something in our ego. Stop that. It's not arrogance, it's necessity. You must claim your leadership. uh Humanity must be driven by the heart and from within, not from the things without. Yeah, humility and persistence won't serve you on Tuesday. Or excuse me, yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't be a pessimist and don't be yeah. Anyway, that's our week. Like and subscribe and share for consultations and healings. Go ahead and go to the website and contact at newdimensionscrystals.com. Hey, if you want me to come do a breathwork kind of thing like I'm doing over in LaGrange, give me a holler about that. We'll see if we can put that on the schedule. If you want me to come and speak to a group or speak to a podcast, also let me know about that. um, Human potential, spiritual development, all that kind of stuff. I like to talk about other couple things that are happening in the month of February as we move into the month. The 24th is a micro full moon, meaning it's the farthest away it's going to be, but it's still a full moon. That's going to be a full moon in Virgo. The 29th um, is really the day of leap year. So, really, that's about a rarity of abundance, right? So choose good things to happen on the 29th. And then we do have a sign switch happening February 19th, 20th, where we move from Aquarius into Pisces. And if you've already like a lot of people who watch the show, if you're ahead of the energy or you're sensing what's coming in the future, uh the Aquarius has been about the ankles, then Pisces is really going to be about the feet, right? The outer boundaries or the lower boundaries of what it is in the physical body, right? That's the feet. And so that energy will be there. And the energy is also in Pisces about understanding and being led by understanding. Oh, I get it. I understand. And all of a sudden you can move faster. It's kind of like when you all of a sudden you know the route if you're driving someplace new and all of a sudden you know, and then you go back and forth quicker and in more confidence. That's a really came out of focus. There I am. And that's really the energy of Pisces. That'll be happening on the 19th and 20th. I believe that's everything I have to say. Thanks for hanging out. Last little thing. I know you almost hit the stop record button. Last little thing. I know I've probably been speaking about 15 minutes. I hope there is a sense where when you spend just 8 minutes holding space for someone, that they can make it past difficult times, depression, and just sort of loneliness. And so when you give 8 minutes to somebody, I'm glad that you gave your 8 minutes to me. I hope that you've received at least 8 minutes in return, and that you've sort of felt the presence of somebody that is advocating for you to do better, because that's what I'm here for. So now I'm really done, and I'm going to say until next time, everybody, many blessings.